Hello everyone. Today's session we are going to discuss about manage resource in Crossplane. What is manage resource? Okay. So manage resource it represents an external service in the provider. Okay. An external service in the provider. So suppose uh, users wants to create a external resource. Suppose I want to create a EC2 instance. Okay. So what you will do is you will create a managed resource in Crossplane. Managed resource, MR stand for managed resource. You will create a managed resource in the Crossplane. Okay, and how Crossplane will react it? It will create a EC2 instance to map this managed resource to this EC2 instance. Okay, so you can see this managed resource is representing the external non-Kubernetes resource in Crossplane. How it works is in the manage resource section, you will be providing the details how the EC2 instance will be created, which region it should create, what will be the sizing and all this thing you will mention in that manage resource YAML file. And when you create it, the manage resource will be created and it will be pointing it out to the EC2 instance. And in that sense, it will also provider will through manage resource only provider will go and check that if any drift happens in the EC2 instance outside from the crossplane things, it will be able to revert it. Okay. So how will you write the things? You will write the API version for the managed resource I'm talking about. API version, so API version like I want to create EC2 instance. So EC2 AWS dot up bound IO v1 beta 1. Now kind will become instance. Spec section, the important factor for provider. Okay, for provider, and this is important. Here, whatever is going to come, it is for EC2 instance like region, then your instance type like T2 micro or all these things. These things will come here, and this is the source of truth. So when you will apply it, Crossplane will go and create the EC2 instance in AWS. Okay. And now how will Crossplane will manage if any change happens outside from the Crossplane thing? Okay. For provider block will make sure that okay, if any drift happens, it will again go and revert it back. Okay. So whatever information you are providing it here, it is the source of truth. Okay. And now if I have created a VPC, okay, using Crossplane, you can run the command kubectl get VPC. It will show you the name, okay, name which is name of the managed resource in Crossplane. So suppose it is my VPC and the VPC ID will be also there. Okay. Now if I want to create a subnet in using Crossplane, what you will do is you will say API version kind will be subnet. Under the spec section, you will be mentioning it out for provider. And here you can mention the VPC ID as well. In case if you want to use the name as well, how you can do it AKM, AKS, and then for provider section. Instead of providing the VPC ID, you can provide VPC ID reference, and you can provide the name of your VPC. So this is the way you can use the manage resource in Crossplane. And this will the generic definition, this will be the pointer to the external resource, and any external non-Kubernetes, when I say external resource means a non-Kubernetes resource, any drift happens outside the Crossplane things, under the manage resource section, the for provider block, whatever information we are providing, it will revert back to that information only. Thank you everyone. Thanks for attending the session. If any question and query, you can ping in the chat window.